talk about. Well, this is the very first episode.
Well, first off, we need our. Are we going to introduce our special guest? Or celebrity guest?
Is he upstairs? Our special celebrity guest for the podcast. Our next guest needs no introduction. Appa.
No.
And my dog, who is also a flying air bison. This is the podcast with no name where we talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender. So today we're going to talk about the first 5 episodes of the entire series: The Boy in the Iceberg, The Avatar Returns, The Southern Air Temple, The Warriors of Kyoshi, and The King of Omashu. So let's get into it.
Yes.
So it's funny when you go back and you rewatch TV shows from your childhood. Because like now I notice all this stuff that I didn't notice before.
I remember the show when I was little. I was at my grandparents' house. I'd be drinking from a cup, very much like this, having popcorn, watching some Airbender. Literally all I remember is Katara's brother fishing, falling into the water because he can't fish.
I feel like the episodes move really fast.
Yeah, they're like, what, 20 minutes?
Yeah, they move really fast. And I'm like, whenever I was like little watching them, I feel like they moved slower. Why would you do that? There is like no time to breathe during the entire episode.
You can tell where the commercials used to be.
Yes, it's so weird because there's no commercials because it's not on Netflix.
The show was literally like designed for commercials.
And it feels so weird because it's like all the editing, like the cuts between the commercials, they don't work anymore because it was designed for the commercial to be there. It's so weird.
Like the frame is different.
Yes.
Like, it'll be like this in a hallway, and you'll be like this, and then it cuts, and then it comes back, and you're in the same hallway, but it's like this. Like you're just farther back, and
Yeah.
slightly wider view. Characters are slightly misplaced. It's like they maybe they did the show like they did the drawings in sections, like because of like its artwork, like, and so maybe they worked around
The commercial breaks.
the commercial breaks. You're also not going to be like, oh, I remember all this, like this specific moment in time where this cut out. So like you wouldn't notice that without
And
absence of
Yeah.
commercials breaks.
I remember being like, oh, like they didn't introduce Suki until like halfway through the first season. And they introduced her literally on the 4th episode. I don't know why the seasons just felt longer.
Because of all the breaks and stuff.
Yeah, that must be it. It's
And
so weird.
I wonder what like the release dates were. What were the increments of time of release?
I think it was every week.
That
Yeah.
feels like a while when you're little.
That does feel like a while.
Like I forget that shows existed in a week.
Really watches episodes week to week now.
Yeah.
Like everything's binge watched.
And who wants to?
That's true. I mean, the only show that we watch week to week is The Bachelor. I mean, let's talk about the characters. Let's start with Aang.
Or should we start in order of appearance?
So, Sokka then. Okay, I kind of feel bad for him.
I think he's got a character arc. Yeah.
He is one of the best character arcs in the entire series.
Because he starts out sexist.
True.
But, I mean,
But not without reason, because he thinks that it's his duty to protect everyone.
he's the only guy that's above, peeing in your pants age in the entire village.
True. I think that him trying to elevate himself as like, I'm a man and I need to protect you is like very to like his core identity. Because I think if he felt like there were people who could protect better than him, I think he would feel like useless. And I think he would feel like he lost his purpose. Like he's definitely just duty oriented.
I don't know if his father does exist. I guess he does. We'll figure it out. Whatever. Later
Her
in
mom
the
is
season.
dead.
Yeah, the mom's dead. She has an amulet.
Amulet. Oh.
That's gonna be interesting to get to.
Do you remember what the amulet is?
It's got the. It's like a stone.
But like, do you remember what the specific purpose?
Yeah, it's from her mom.
Yeah, but never mind. You know.
Never mind. It has something to do with her powers a bit. That's all amulets do. I mean, why would you have an amulet in a cartoon if it didn't do something? It's not just a rock. Never just a rock. Unless you are the rock.
But yeah, Sokka, I just feel bad for him because he's always the butt of the joke. Like every time on screen when there's like someone like does something like with their bending or like they like knock something over, literally he's always the one who gets hit with something or like something falls on him or it's like something he owns gets taken away.
Yeah, he's already not confident. Hence the reason, maybe because he's not a bender, he asserts that
He's compensating.
he's compensating.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Because there haven't been any benders in their tribe for a bit, and then also assuming for probably about 8 years there hasn't been any benders, and the people in that tribe have probably never met anyone except for people in the Fire Nation, probably.
Yeah.
Sokka and like everyone in the tribe kind of like they're so isolated that they kind of like don't believe in bending.
Yeah, they
Like,
refer to it as like magic.
Which I thought is so weird with something that's so ingrained to like everyone's culture is the bending that like they are so far removed for everyone else that they kind of just like don't revere it as like other cultures do. It's like the Fire Nation's culture.
It's all around that.
It's all around bending, which is so crazy. I would say besides Zuko,
Yeah.
Sokka probably has like one of the most fully developed like character arcs because now, like in the beginning of the first season, he has no skills.
No.
No skills whatsoever.
Finding food, he found nuts, and some of those nuts were rocks.
But also like fighting.
Yeah. There's that time where he wears a skirt though.
Which was like #feminism.
And he learns to fight. Somewhat. Just something cool.
Doesn't learn how to like fight until like almost the end of the series.
Yeah.
Which I think is crazy. Okay, next character, Katara.
Mm-hmm.
Queen Katara. Brown girl rep. If you were a brown girl when Avatar came out and you didn't want to be Katara, you're a liar. You're a liar. We all wanted to be Katara. Her like experience of like just not being a child anymore and being like I have to be a mother to my brother and to my village is like really sad. And she's also like so loyal. Katara's a Cancer. You heard it here, folks. You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first. Katara's a Cancer. Let's be honest.
She does bend water.
Yeah, and she's motherly. She's fiercely loyal. It's funny seeing her not being able to bend well.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I just got so used to seeing her as like a master waterbender because she becomes so powerful.
Didn't she start learning pretty early on?
And she can't learn until she gets to the North Pole.
Mm-hmm.
She's so powerful, and I just like am not used to seeing her not being powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Because like for almost the first season, she's not a master. She doesn't really have any control over her powers.
Yeah.
And so to see her become like from going like from this to like being one of the best waterbenders in the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there's much competition, but
Yeah. What are they, like 6 waterbenders?
yeah. Katara's fun.
Then,
Egg.
yes, bald-headed king. Even though he has the bat symbol on his forehead, we still love him.
The bat symbol.
Or it's more like the subway symbol, I guess. Eat fresh.
Aang is really interesting because you've seen the movie version, right? Have you?
Or one of my other Avatar lives, maybe. I don't know.
It's bad.
Why is that?
We can make an entire video just on why it's bad. They like lost they did like the opposite of what the series was intended to do. They cast everyone, like they cast Katara and Sokka as Aang as white. You know who the only characters they cast as like being brown skin? Guess, just guess. The characters that we've seen so far. Which
Zuko.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow, wonder why.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think there's something really different that this show did, that they made 2 of like the 3 heroes like brown, and then they kept like the enemies being light skinned.
Yeah.
And then the movie was like, let me just take that back.
Okay. Thank you.
They completely butchered Aang's character, and they like made him like super serious.
In the movie?
Yes.
He's supposed to be like a 12-year-old.
Yeah. They like made him way too old. Because I think one of the big things, the biggest motivator for Aang's wanting to run away from his responsibilities was that he was just like, I want to be fun, I want to have fun, I'm a kid, I can handle this, I want to just go from island to island and check out animals.
Yeah.
And so when they took that away, they kind of took away his biggest motivation.
Okay.
Took away his biggest motivation for not wanting to be the Avatar.
Yeah.
It was also just boring. The general vibe of the Avatar the movie was that the person who directed, I think it was M. Night Shyamalan, I don't know how to say his name, but it felt like the screenwriters and the, I don't know, something like that.
I was just thinking.
The screenwriters and the directors, it seemed like they read like a season Wikipedia synopsis of the show, and they didn't actually watch the show. It felt like they'd read summaries and synopses of it, and then we're like, we have all the information we need, let's make that into a movie. When in reality, the TV series is so detailed, the personalities, you can't really capture personality through that.
And then like the art style of the show is very specific. Like,
yeah.
It's really pretty.
It is really pretty.
I like the, like I want to go, once like things open up again, you can go back into places. It'd be really nice to get some Avatar merchandise.
Oh yeah.
I want to get a Appa.
The world building of Avatar is immaculate.
Yeah.
It's some of the best world building there's ever been.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting considering that Aang is so young to be that powerful.
It's scary.
Yeah. Oops.
I think the bigger question is, why was Avatar so good?
And like, why isn't there anything more from it?
Well, there's Legend of Korra, there's comics.
Well, I mean, like, something mainstream again, like Nickelodeon type thing. I mean, I know Nickelodeon's not really...
Oh, you mean like something else of its caliber on Nickelodeon?
Yeah, like a new show or something. Why? I mean, then again, they'll probably do it wrong. Everyone that tries to reboot a show does it wrong.
Well, they're supposed to be doing a live-action Netflix reboot of the series.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, as I'm watching this show, there could have never been movies of this show because there's just so much
going on.
Yeah, there's
like
so
the
much
whole, like,
character development episodes.
Yeah, and then like the stuff going on, like special effects is gonna be really hard to do. Like you're gonna get into the case of like, I don't know how they'll do it, but I feel like it'll be work very similar to The Mandalorian, because like that show is has like a certain production quality to it, and it's really good. Like it's very cinematic, and so I feel like if the Avatar live action remake, if it's going to be like a series,
it's supposed to be,
and if it's episodic, then it'll probably work very similar to The Mandalorian because of the fact of like how those special effects will work.
Yeah.
And like it'd be really boring if like
there was no special effects.
Yeah, or if like like if you don't see anything happen, like if Aang just goes and all of a sudden like everyone flies away, you know?
Yeah, I do think being able to see the air
like
adds an element.
Yeah.
The movie version, the bending was like not as easy, and I think it might have been because of like the very reasons you just said, because of the CGI. Like in the movie version, like if people wanted to earthbend, it took like 4 people to earthbend like one rock.
Really?
Yes. And then the firebenders, they could only firebend fire that had already existed. I know. It's so weird. The CGI just was not up to par.
I think that's kind of what's good about that show, is it kind of like it doesn't limit
itself.
Your fantasies.
Well, it's also animated.
Yeah. But like that also, like it's something satisfying about that just working, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just like them being able to have that power.
The overall arc of the show, because whenever the show opens, the world has been at war for 100 years, nearly. So, like, almost every place in this universe, on this planet, is, like, traumatized.
Yeah.
Like every community, because like they spend a lot of the series just going from town to town. The writers do a great job of like giving every town a personality and like a culture and being like, this island has this tradition.
Yeah, even though they're like, they could be two earthbending places, be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's it, the capital place or like?
Amashu and Kyoshi Island.
Yeah.
It also shows you what each city values. You can see the differences between cultures. Whenever they eventually get to the Fire Nation, they like don't have fun there.
Yeah.
And it's like very rigid, very like rules, like oriented.
Like there's a message because it's a cartoon for kids.
Your mind.
Have fun, kids.
Air nomads, which are they're pacifists. They're mostly monks.
And they don't eat meat.
Yeah, and they're vegetarians. They're vegans. And literally all they do is just like, because they're raised as monks, so all they do is like train and meditate and play, and like that's literally all they do.
Yeah.
They formed like the cultures for each place, and then they added in how the war has changed their culture.
Yeah.
Which is like very detail oriented, and that's why I don't think that Avatar could ever work as a movie, because one of the big parts of the series is the character seeing just how much the war has affected the world.
And I think you can't fit that into an hour or so.
No.
Like that's weird to think about that. Like alone, we watched 100 minutes of a show. A movie would limit that to like up to 120.
Yeah.
Even then, in that amount of time, you don't get the same quality.
Yeah.
Like it would be its own thing, you know. At that point, you're writing a different story because you're trying to create something that'll fit into that amount of time. And I get that it's like a cartoon, so it's like whoop-de-doo, but like at the same time,
it's a good cartoon.
It's a good cartoon, and it just to be done right, it kind of requires like these little things, yeah, just random things happening, and for it to be fun, like how much of that movie is going to be allocated to actually developing all that stuff and still being able to match how much fun it was to watch.
I mean, they needed the things you need for Avatar. You needed world building. You needed character development. Like Avatar is kind of known for the fact that like every character gets a character arc, and like a good character arc. Like, you couldn't fit that into a movie. For every character to have character development, they start off as flawed-ish people, and by the end they're grown up. And I just think it would be impossible to fit that all into a movie. I think they are doing, like they're planning on doing a live version.
Hopefully they still do.
It's supposed to be on Netflix. If they were gonna do this show like Game of Thrones style,
That's not.
like hour-and-a-half long episodes, I don't think that would be terrible. Because like I'm also watching this, I'm like, wow, these episodes are short. And I think if they were going to do that, I think they should. Because now everyone who watched this show, who would watch the new series, they're our age now. They're adults. Like there are people.
They have the attention span to do so.
Yeah, there are people well into their 30s who watch this show as teenagers.
Yeah.
They need to like adapt to that. And I think now that I'm watching like 22 minute increments, I'm like, that was short. That was short. And I find myself...
And it probably, it wasn't 22 minutes back in the day, because, like...
It was probably 30 minutes.
Yeah, like with the cartoons or whatever, the commercials that fit into the cartoons.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm, like, watching the show, because it was for kids then, it was, like, keep moving, because kids don't have a big attention span. But now I'm like, why didn't they take a second just to, like, let this character react, you know?
Yeah.
Because now I'm an adult, and I have a longer attention span, I find myself wanting them to slow down the pacing. So I feel like if they were gonna like do like an hour long episodes, or even like hour-and-a-half long episodes,
that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Mm-hmm. And then you could do like, you can only have like 10 episodes in a season then.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like the same runtime.
And I mean, that show would still be capable of doing all the world building and everything that it requires.
So like I think instead of doing a movie, that would be good. But I think it would be impossible to do a movie. Yeah. This is the thing that makes Avatar good, is that they had lots and lots of filler episodes that were used for character development. Mm-hmm. And those don't make good movies.
Yeah, like literally the whole design of the show kind of mirrors what happens in, like, at least what's happening in the beginning of the story, which is, like, Aang wanting to, like, stop at these places around the world and, like, goof off. And you kind of see how that's starting to become a growing, like, that's kind of becoming an issue, because the show is saying, like, the show kind of right now is like, you should have fun, you know, like, it's kind of saying these people have no fun, they are bad, like the Fire
because
Nation.
they are affected by trauma from the war.
Well, no, I'm the Fire Nation. I mean, they're the
bad guys,
traumatizers.
Traumatizers.
Yeah, like any Tigers, Tyson traumatizers.
Tyson trauma. So we should make an edit of that.
Tyson traumatizers. Yeah, or versus like the air nomads who were like, you know, played and had fun, and then now the people who are traumatized. It's almost like the Fire Nation has no fun, and then all these other people are happy with their lives. And the Fire Nation came and just said, no. And so now none of them are happy with their lives, minus one air nomad that was frozen. And like this, basically, it's a time capsule. It's like, you know, he's the one that survived.
He's pre-war.
Yeah, he's basically Captain America. Basically Captain America.
But he's also like in this like, that's a really interesting thought about like Aang capturing like the pre-war spirit.
Yeah.
Because it's like he kind of like is like, this is what we used to be, and we can move past this. And that's probably why Katara likes Aang so much. Are you okay? You okay? You okay?
No. It's a really hot take.
She said this show is so good that I have to cough it up. You okay? You take her?
Breathe. Okay, so anyways.
So that's a really good point. Probably why Katara and Aang got along so much, because in the very first episode, Katara says, "Aang brought us something we hadn't had in forever, fun." And like I feel like Aang's like need for fun is probably what made Katara and them like just soulmates.
It's a breath of fresh air. It's something that hasn't existed in so long because everyone is kind of traumatized and passing down this trauma from generation to generation.
Intergenerational trauma.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole interesting video there. Like, this show has a lot of, you know, interesting themes, and you could really pick it apart. And you know, I always wonder when, like, people analyze a show kind of like we are, like, how much did the writers consciously put in there?
Oh, I think everything was conscious.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's really good writing that you could sit here and pick it apart and what's been...
She said, "I'm leaving."
Yeah, she said, I'm gonna head out. Oh, she said, I'm gonna head in. Like, that you could sit here and pick it apart for what have we been doing, like 20 minutes maybe now?
Yeah. That's also a really good storytelling technique. Have someone from right before the world kind of like
fell apart.
Yeah, and then trying to like, they're like bringing back all of like this joy and stuff. And then it's also a good like expository technique to be like, this is all that's happened, how we've changed, and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that like there's someone to explain to, as well as I think one of the good the good techniques they use is that by showing how the world was before the Fire Nation attacked, we realize like the extent of their damage.
Aang is kind of like the embodiment of the Renaissance.
Yeah.
And then
the good old days.
Yes. Like he's the 1920s before the Great Depression. Yes. And yeah, he's the Roaring 20s.
And everyone else is in this Great Depression. Everyone's in
the Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
What are some big key takeaways for the first
5 episodes? My favorite characters haven't really been introduced yet, but Uncle Iroh, the way they like subtly introduce his character, because you can like tell that he is like,
he's important.
He's a very important character. Why would you do that?
It's okay. She'll come to me.
She looks huge on camera. I think it's really interesting because Uncle Iroh, he like shows that like he's like guiding Zuko, but like he can't outright be like, I'm not into this whole like imperialism thing anymore.
Yeah.
so that like he's just like, I have to do this, but like he could turn at any given moment.
I think that his character is really interesting because of the fact that like he's like on the bad side, but yet
he's a good person.
Yeah, he acts almost the same as Aang, but just is what Aang would look like had he not been, in a
Frozen.
time capsule.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting.
As well as Zuko, probably like one of the most beloved like cartoon characters of all time.
Is also really uptight right now.
Yeah, and he's such a merciful person.
Yeah.
He's such a caring person.
But
who
he
just,
can't be.
He just got the bad brunt of like his birth
Yeah.
circumstances. So he's just as traumatized. Literally every person on the show has like PTSD.
Yeah.
Like, as well as I think it's very interesting that his dad was like, if you return the Avatar, you'll have your honor restored.
Yeah.
When there is no way that Ozai thought the Avatar was still alive. I guarantee you.
The whole point of that
Was that he would never capture him and he would never be able to come back.
Yeah, so he'd just be a failure.
Ozai was a trash father.
Yeah. So, in conclusion, for this first episode,
the show got me messed up.
Yeah, it's really got me messed up. Like it. Can't wait to watch more.
I know, I can't wait to watch more.
Make another video on it.
I can't wait to meet the other characters. Like, I can't wait for Azula. Like, I love Azula.
Mm-hmm.
Azula's probably my favorite character.
And I can't wait for the more unraveling as to the reasons that these characters are the way they are. Because right now, we're in a snapshot. Like, even in this episode, even like in this first five episodes, we're still looking at a picture. Like, it's like a live photo before you press down on it.
Yeah.
Like, everyone, this is like, here's how everyone is. And then, like, I'm just ready for where this show actually takes off. I can't wait for things for like characters to start changing and stuff like that. Like, I can't wait for them to start becoming more powerful and for like for Zuko's character arc to take off.
I can't wait for Katara to like learn waterbending because once she learns waterbending, she's literally unstoppable.
Over.
She's unstoppable.
It's over.
It's a happy show, but like when they're sad, they like make a point to like make you really sad.
Mm-hmm.
But then they don't do it in a way that's like inappropriate for kids.
Yeah,
it's just
digestible.
It is digestible.
So yeah, I guess that's where we leave you. So, clink clink.
Clink clink.
We'll see you next time we drink.